I slammed the brakes when I saw the sign bolted into my own gate. Red letters. A fake HOA logo. Screaming community property, like someone had annexed my land overnight. Two men in reflective vests stood guard on my porch, as if they were protecting a government building. And then Karen Browning looked straight at me, adjusted her blazer, and said, "You have 5 minutes to vacate the premises." I didn't feel fear. I didn't feel panic. What I felt was something colder, clearer, the kind of clarity you get when you realize this isn't a misunderstanding anymore. It's a takeover. And she picked the wrong house. I had moved to Colwood County because I was done with power games. 36 years old, retired early from federal inspection work, burned out on politics, bureaucracy, and people who confuse authority with ego. I wanted quiet, trees, an old logging road, a house that sat just outside the last cul-de-sac of Willow Pond Estates, far enough away that no pastel HOA signs could reach it. I checked the deed twice before I bought it. Clean, no covenants, no easements, no HOA. That was the whole point. The first morning, there felt like freedom. Coffee on the porch. My dog Rex chasing squirrels like he owned the woods. I remember thinking, this is it. This is the life I worked myself half to death for. Karen ruined that on day 2. She didn't knock. She didn't introduce herself like a normal human being. She marched up my gravel driveway like she was leading a parade in her own honor. Binder tucked under her arm like a weapon. Sunglasses, blazer, that tight smile people wear when they think they're in charge. "I'm Karen Browning," she said, "president of the Willow Pond Estates Homeowners Association." She scanned everything. My mailbox, my trailer, the paint on my siding, even Rex, who was sitting there wagging his tail like an idiot. It was like watching a predator catalog prey. I told her calmly that my property wasn't part of her HOA. She blinked, hard, like her brain hit a 404 error. "That may be what your paperwork says," she replied, voice already sharpening. "But you use our road. You're connected to our water line by communal extension. You fall under our architectural expectations." I'd heard arguments like that before, always from people who couldn't stand the idea of someone existing outside their control. I pointed to the sign I'd installed that morning. Private drive, no HOA. For a split second, I thought she might back down. Instead, her smile tightened. "You'll be hearing from the board," she said, and walked away like she'd already won. 3 days later, the first notice appeared. No stamp, no envelope seal, just a folded piece of paper jammed into my gate latch with the word "resident" printed at the top like a threat. Inside was a list of violations so absurd it almost made me laugh. Unapproved facade color, unauthorized trailer, incompatible mailbox, excessive dog presence. Rex was literally chewing a tennis ball 10 feet away. It stopped being funny when I realized she wasn't joking. I didn't yell. I didn't march over to the HOA office. I documented everything. Photos, timestamps, camera angles. I emailed the entire packet to my attorney, Marcus. He responded in 15 minutes flat. "This is nonsense, sis," he wrote. "They have zero jurisdiction. Keep collecting evidence." So I did. Then came the neighbors, the ones Karen whispered to, the ones who slowed their golf carts near my fence and asked questions that sounded friendly but weren't. "Are you planning to comply with community expectations?" they'd say, like they were reading from a script. One morning, I found a pile of junk dumped right at the edge of my property line. Broken planks, a cracked toilet seat, half a rusted swing set. Not random, deliberate. A territorial marker. I didn't need proof to know who orchestrated it. Karen never got her hands dirty. She just pointed and let her followers do the rest. Then the night visits started. 2 figures near my fence, flashlights off, Stickers slapped onto my gate reading "Property under review. Pending community action." I sent the footage to the sheriff's tip line. They told me it was probably kids. I knew better. Kids don't move in pairs. Kids don't print HOA logos. Still, I stayed calm. More cameras, motion lights, signs at eye level. I wasn't preparing for a fight. I was building a file. And then came the letter that changed everything, taped directly to my front door. A thick envelope with a fake gold seal from something calling itself the Willow Pond Estates HOA Enforcement Council. A 72-hour demand that I vacate the premises for fraudulent occupancy and failure to comply with community directives. Attached was a letter from a law firm that didn't exist. When Marcus called me back, he sounded almost amused. "This isn't civil," he said. "This is felony fraud. Start treating it like a criminal matter." That was the moment the doubt crept in, because I won't lie. There was a night I sat on my porch, Rex curled up at my feet, staring at the trees, and wondered if I'd made a mistake, if it would be easier to sell. Walk away. Let Karen have her imaginary kingdom. I asked myself if I was being stubborn, if maybe I'd misread something, if the stress was worth it. I felt small, isolated, outnumbered. And then I remembered why I left my old life in the first place. Because I was tired of letting bullies with paperwork decide what was real. The next morning, I called the county land office. A clerk named Dana pulled up my parcel, read the numbers out loud. "You're 234 feet outside their boundary," she said. "No easements, no covenants, no claim." She emailed me certified documents with county stamps. The kind judges don't argue with. Karen escalated anyway. Flyers started appearing around the neighborhood. "Community in danger. Rogue resident, ignoring HOA authority." A grainy photo of me, walking Rex, shot from behind like I was some kind of criminal. She told people I was unstable, a former government agent, a threat. The irony almost hurt. But the real breaking point came the day I left town for supplies. I was gone 4 hours. When I came back, my property looked like a crime scene curated by delusion. My private drive sign was gone. A new metal sign had been drilled into the post declaring the land community property. 3 men in reflective vests patrolled my porch. My front door had a new deadbolt, bright silver, with a sticker that read, "Sealed pending board hearing." Karen stepped out from the side of my house like she'd been waiting for her cue. "You've been given ample warning," she said calmly. "Your residence is under administrative reassignment." "You broke into my house," I said. "It's not your house," she snapped. "You occupy land within our sphere of jurisdiction." One of the men shoved me, not hard, just enough. Rex growled low, deep in his chest. Gravel crunched under my boots as I raised my phone. "That's assault," I said flatly. "And it's on camera." Karen flinched. Just a fraction. I dialed 911 and made sure she heard every word. "My home has been unlawfully entered. Locks changed. Trespassers posing as HOA enforcement are blocking access." The patrol car arrived 10 minutes later. Deputy Ramos recognized me immediately. Then Sergeant Lanier stepped out, scanned the scene once, and you could feel the air change. Karen launched into her speech about community protocols. Lanier cut her off with one sentence. "Ma'am, are you a licensed law enforcement officer?" Silence. I handed him my file. Deed, plat map, county stamps, fake letters, video stills. Body cam footage caught the shove. Lanier didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. He ordered the men to drop their radios and step back. They obeyed instantly. Karen's world collapsed right there on the gravel. Trespass, criminal mischief, forgery, impersonation of authority, conspiracy. She tried to talk. No one listened. When Ramos cuffed her and she shouted, "This is harassment." I almost laughed at the irony. I didn't celebrate. I just watched as the cruiser door shut, that hollow thud echoing through the trees. Weeks later, the courtroom stripped the rest away. Every lie, every fake document. Karen's mask cracked slowly when she realized bylaws don't beat reality. The HOA dissolved. Insurance dropped them. The board scattered. That night, I came home, installed a new lock. Rex circled twice and lay down with a sigh. The wind moved through the pines, untouched by any HOA decree. On my land. The law is real. And when fake authority meets reality, reality always wins.